Hey everyone, it's me, Donna. I'm making this video because something has been on my mind quite a bit lately. I have noticed, like in nursing homes, and especially smaller nursing homes, it seems like the elderly are not really getting the activities and the attention and things like that they really need. And I've noticed that it seems to make them go downhill a lot quicker. Whereas when they're in areas where they can A, be more active, B, just have more things to occupy their mind, and C, have someone to talk to, they seem to do better and they thrive and they live longer and they just seem more happier and healthier. And I've got an idea that I wish would become like a federal thing, a program that is paid for by our tax dollars, however they want to do it, whether they want to tax certain products or, just whatever, whether they want to add it to lottery stuff or, there's so many different ways it could be added to the gas tax, whatever. Although, I don't like the idea of being taxed half to death, but when you think about it, going for something that is worthwhile and you see that it could be something that A, would take care of a need, something that does a good thing and a good deed, and B, if it will create jobs for people, then it's worth it, okay? All right, my idea has to do with the government hiring people to go around to nursing homes and spend time with the elderly. I know in the past, people have had like volunteer services and things like that, candy strippers, all that. But those things are the things of the past. Now it's all about money. And let's face it, nowadays, most people can't afford to volunteer. In the past, back when things were different as far as finances, you had one person in the household who could be the breadwinner, and then the other person was more free to go do, whatever, you know. Whereas nowadays, it's all different. It takes two people just to survive in this world. That's the fact of it. So since we live in this type of world, then in order to do something like this, naturally people would have to be paid to do it. And what would be a good thing is, if you enjoy sitting and talking to the elderly and making them feel good and everything and get paid a little money for it, well, it's kind of like a win-win for you. Although, yes, it would be nice if it could all be volunteer and blah, 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 but we just can't, most people just can't make ends meet volunteering, even though they would probably love to, but they couldn't survive on doing that. So I just wish there was a program that would pay people, say, like $40 a day to go spend 4 hours in a nursing home and, talk with the elderly and give them snacks and things. Like, okay, all right, first of all, you would have to pass a background check, of course, and, make sure everything's good and clean with your background, okay? And the government would create like this agency, okay? And it could be, in each state, in each city or whatever, where they have nursing homes, okay? All right, and they go by the number of people, or the average number of people in each nursing home, as to how many people they would send out to that nursing home to come spend time with the elderly, okay? All right. What they would do is, once you pass the background check and all this bunch of stuff, like I said, you would, get paid, let's just say $40 an hour, $40 a day. To me, that would be reasonable, especially for like 4 or 5 hours a day for you to go spend time, with the elderly. That's not bad, okay? So, all right. And then what you would do is you would go to the nursing home and you will be given a list of snacks and stuff that each resident can have, because you don't want to give a resident the wrong type of snacks or whatever, especially if they're diabetic, if they're on dialysis or something like that. You want to know what you're doing, okay? But you won't be giving baths or shots or anything like that. You would just be sitting down and talking with them, maybe like a small group, or maybe spend some one-on-one time. Like you could go and talk with the office of that facility and find out like maybe who's kind of having a hard time, maybe what residents are depressed or whatever, okay? And of course, let me say this, you can be given like a little bit of training through this agency, to where like maybe a little bit of psychology training, maybe like maybe a 6 weeks course or something like that. And of course it's paid for. It'd be like an orientation, all that type of thing. And you will be trained how to deal with the elderly and talk to them and things like that. And of course, what would also be good is if you would be trained on CPR and that type of stuff, in case something happens and you're needed, you could step in and help in that way, okay? But anyway, besides that, okay. So, you do that. You learn about how to sit and talk with them, okay? And just sitting and talking to them might make someone's day so much better. You might increase the lifespan of someone just by, letting them feel like their voice is heard and they've got someone to talk to. Because let's face it, activities directors, a lot of times there's only like one activities director for a whole nursing home. Well, their whole day is planned out. They can only do so much. They're limited to the budget and all these other factors. So they're not going to be able to give one-on-one attention. Nurses can't really do that because their schedule is so busy. They have to give baths, they have to give shots, they have to do this, they have to do that, they have to feed. There's so much that they have to do, and their time is limited, okay? As well as, say, kitchen staff. They can't really do anything because they have to do what they have to do in the kitchen, and they just don't have time to really deal with the patients, or shall I say the residents, one-on-one. So, and that's the sad part, is the people that work in the nursing home, they can't actually give one-on-one attention to these residents. So that's why I feel like it would take a separate entity to do that. Because these people oh my gosh, I can't tell you the times I have passed by an elderly person and I couldn't stop to really talk to them or anything because, I had to get to work. You don't have the time to give them this attention. And it's a hard fact of life. But it would be so nice if if you work for an agency that actually pays you to do that, to where you can give these people attention and time and just make them feel heard and make them feel better about their day. I mean, that would just be, in my opinion, that would be so wonderful. And like I said, all you would have to do is make sure you give them snacks and keep them, with liquids and things like that, things that they need. And then, if they need nurses' attention, you can go and get that for them. So I just think that would be wonderful. And, it'd be cool if, say, like if Medicaid or something like that could pay for it. Although Medicaid is stingy. It's a very greedy, stingy organization that is collecting money off of us from the day we start to work. We're paying into Medicaid, Medicare, all this stuff. And the funny part is, even after we retire, we're still paying into Medicaid, Medicare. So they can't tell me that that organization is busted, because they're collecting from everybody. And that's what people are not waking up to and realizing. There's a whole lot of money there that's being collected that this organization, a government entity is sitting on. And though they claim they're busted, they're poor, they're broke, bull crap. That they're making money, hand over foot. And, and a lot of times people die before they even get to really get any benefits out of this, just like, Social Security. You pay for that from day one that you start working all the way through. So, yeah, I just, but anyway, that's me being on my little soapbox. But it would be nice if something could make these organizations turn loose of the purse string a little bit and actually pay people. Like I said, $40 a day for 4 or 5 hours to go do that. That, to me, that would be wonderful. And it would be very beneficial. I mean, you just don't know how wonderful and beneficial that would be to the elderly, and how much better it would make them feel. So, that's just my feelings about it, and I would love to see this get, some kind of thing get passed, somebody push it through the Senate or whatever, and actually get it to where money can create this. And it can be done, and it would give people jobs. People walking around here unemployed that don't want to be a nurse, don't want to have to work in a kitchen, don't want to have to do this other stuff. Well, some of them would jump at a chance. A lot of them, they like the elderly. They enjoy talking to people and spending time, and it would just be a wonderful thing if they could get paid for it. Cool, So, anyway, I just wanted to put that out there, and I may try to pass this along to, maybe a few senators or politicians or whatever, and just see if somehow something can get created from this. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye.